When life gets tough, when it takes all your strength just to survive, what do? We've all had days that felt like we got up, got punched in the face, and then got up just to get hit again. Sometimes the worst moments stretch beyond a single day, repeating for weeks, months, or even years. If your experience has been anything like mine, you know how rough it can get. But what if I told you that the secret to winning at life comes from those who take punches for a living? There are people who step into the ring and endure body blows as part of their craft. Boxers and MMA fighters know what it means to take a hit, adjust, and keep moving forward. From them, and from the wisdom of the Stoics, we can learn how to get back up after being knocked down. Winning in life requires preparation, resilience, and the will to keep fighting. But before anything else, you have to be real about your circumstances. Mike Tyson once said, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." This reflects a fundamental truth the ancient Stoics understood well. Life is unpredictable. No matter how carefully you plan, unexpected challenges will arise. The Stoics had a practice for this. Premeditatio malorum or the premeditation of evils. By mentally rehearsing setbacks before they occur, you develop the mental armor needed to withstand adversity. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. Staying grounded in reality allows you to adapt when things don't go your way. When we cling too tightly to our expectations, we set ourselves up for devastation. A skilled boxer adjusts their stance in response to an opponent's movements, and in life, we must do the same. The unexpected punch is rarely personal. A canceled flight, a rejection, or an illness isn't an attack on you. It's simply an event. The Stoics taught that the real struggle isn't with the event itself, but with our reaction to it. By learning to separate our emotions from external circumstances, we create space for clearer thinking and better decisions. True mental preparation isn't about controlling events. It's about controlling our response to them. Fighters train their minds as much as their bodies to stay calm under pressure, and we must do the same. Stability becomes a powerful asset when life surprises us, and it always will. So expect the punches. Some will land. But know this, you are not alone. We all face difficulties, and while you can't stop life from throwing challenges at you, you can control how you meet them. You are strong, capable, and ready. Carry that thought with you. To stand firm against life's challenges, you must strengthen your mental resilience. Just as a boxer conditions their body daily to withstand hits, you must train your mind one step at a time. No fighter wakes up one morning and suddenly becomes indestructible. It takes daily practice and endurance. In life, this means exposing yourself to small discomforts and handling them with discipline. A delayed train, a spilled coffee, or a frustrating conversation can become training grounds for patience and composure. Every time you choose to stay calm, you strengthen your resilience. The Stoics also practiced voluntary discomfort, intentionally placing themselves in challenging situations to build their tolerance. Cold showers, fasting, and sleeping on a hard floor weren't acts of suffering, but of preparation. By embracing discomfort in controlled doses, you expand your ability to handle life's inevitable hardships. Resilience is also about perspective. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Pain is unavoidable, but suffering is a choice. A setback might be painful, but it's the story we tell ourselves about it, whether it's unbearable, unfair, or permanent, that creates additional suffering. That part is within our control. Watching your mind and practicing resilience will make what once felt overwhelming seem manageable, then easy, and eventually you'll win. Part of resilience is knowing when to step back. In any fight, knowing when to move forward is only half the battle. You must also know when to retreat. This isn't about surrender, it's about strategy. An experienced boxer doesn't just stand there absorbing hits. They slip, duck, and create space. They conserve energy, allowing their opponent to tire out. Survival in one round creates an opportunity in the next. The same applies in life. When you're overwhelmed, stepping back allows you to preserve your energy instead of burning yourself out. Every challenge drains your mental, emotional, and physical resources. Sometimes the smartest move is to disengage, regroup, and return stronger. When you're in the middle of conflict, your vision narrows. Distance gives you clarity, helping you see the bigger picture, recognize patterns, and develop a better strategy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we have power over our minds, not external events. Realizing this gives us strength. Not every battle is worth fighting, and a strategic retreat lets you choose when and where to make your stand. Many of life's struggles are endurance tests. The one who outlasts the storm often wins in the end. This wisdom appears throughout history, from military generals like Sun Tzu to the natural world itself. A rigid oak tree snaps in a storm, but a flexible reed bends and survives. Epictetus advised, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Mastering strategic withdrawal isn't about giving up, it's about winning the long game. Sometimes you absorb the punches. Sometimes you sidestep them. And sometimes you step back, not as a sign of defeat, but as a calculated move toward victory. The strongest person isn't the one who never retreats. It's the one who wins in the end. If stepping back now puts you in a better position to fight later, then do it. Not every moment is meant for advancing. Some are for recovering. Some are for enduring. And some are for waiting until the right moment to strike. No matter where you are in life. Right now, remember that every move you make is part of the bigger fight. Stay strong, stay smart, and keep going. When life gets tough, when it takes all your strength just to survive, you have to ask yourself, what do you do next? We've all had days that felt like getting up just to be punched in the face, then getting up again only to be hit once more. During the worst times, those days repeat, stretching into weeks, months, even years. If your experience was anything like mine, it was rough. But what if I told you that the secret to winning at life comes from those who take punches for a living? There are people who do this professionally, boxers and MMA fighters who step into the ring and roll with the punches, not just to survive, but to win. They know how to take the hits, adjust, and strike back. And in their example, combined with the wisdom of the Stoics, we can find 5 principles to help us rise again after being knocked down. Because you can win in life. All you need is a plan, the right preparation, and the will to fight back. But you have to be real about your situation. As Mike Tyson once said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Life will throw unexpected challenges your way, no matter how carefully you plan. The Stoics understood this well. They called it premeditatio malorum the premeditation of evils. By mentally rehearsing setbacks before they happen, you build the armor that protects you when adversity strikes. This isn't pessimism, it's preparation. It keeps you grounded in reality. Being adaptable means loosening your grip on expectations. When you cling too tightly to a desired outcome, you set yourself up for devastation when things go sideways. A fighter adjusts their stance in response to an opponent's jabs, and in life, you must do the same. The unexpected punch is rarely personal. The Stoics emphasize the difference between events and our judgments about them. A flight cancellation, a rejection, a sudden illness. These aren't personal attacks. They're just events that require an adjustment. By separating the circumstance from your interpretation of it, you create space for clearer thinking and better responses. Mental preparation isn't about controlling external events. It's about controlling your response to them. Just as fighters train their minds to stay calm under pressure, you must practice staying cool when things collapse. Stability becomes an asset, and in real life, the unexpected always comes. You are not alone in this. Everyone takes hits. But if you're mentally ready, the blows will hurt less. You are strong, capable, and more resilient than you realize. To be prepared for life's punches, you have to strengthen your mental resilience. A boxer doesn't learn to absorb hits overnight. It takes daily training. In life, you must do the same. Resilience comes from intentional practice. Start with small inconveniences. A delayed train, a spilled coffee, a technology failure, and use these moments to practice staying calm. Each controlled response strengthens your resilience muscle. The Stoics believed in voluntary discomfort, deliberately placing yourself in uncomfortable situations to build your tolerance for hardship. Cold showers, fasting, sleeping on the floor, these aren't punishments, but training. By choosing discomfort in controlled doses, you expand your capacity to handle the difficulties life throws at you. And they will come. The key is keeping perspective. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The pain of a setback is real, but the story you tell yourself about it, that it's unbearable, unfair, or permanent, creates unnecessary suffering. That part is in your control. Resilience isn't measured by avoiding problems, but by your ability to deal with them. What once seemed overwhelming will, with practice, become manageable. Then it will become easy. Then you win. But winning doesn't mean relentless pushing without rest. Even fighters know that recovery is as important as exertion. There's a balance between moving forward and knowing when to step back. In the arena of life, knowing when to advance is only half the battle. You also have to know when to step back. This isn't surrender, it's strategy. A seasoned boxer facing a stronger opponent doesn't just stand there taking hits. They slip, duck, clinch, or back away to conserve energy while their opponent tires. They know that surviving this round creates opportunities in the next. Sometimes the best move is to withdraw and regroup rather than depleting yourself completely. Every confrontation drains your mental, emotional, and physical energy. Stepping back creates space to see the bigger picture, identify patterns, and develop counter-strategies. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Not every fight is worth it. A strategic retreat lets you choose your battles wisely. The greatest fighters, like the strongest trees, don't resist every storm. They bend when necessary to survive. Stepping back isn't failure. It's a setup for future victory. Sometimes you have to take a loss, and when you do, perspective is everything. What appears to be an obstacle is often an opportunity. Standing at the edge of a challenge, most people see only difficulty. But the warrior sees the training ground where greatness is born. The universe isn't conspiring against you. It's pushing you to become stronger. This is more than optimism. It's a strategic mindset. The fighter who sees a stronger opponent not as unfair punishment, but as a teacher gains an edge. While others ask, why me? The Stoic warrior asks, what am I meant to learn here? Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The resistance itself builds your strength. The diamond forms under pressure. The sword is tempered through fire. The champion is forged through struggle. Nothing exceptional comes from comfort. Shifting your perspective changes everything. The job you didn't get becomes the redirection you needed. The relationship that ended becomes the lesson that prepared you. The failure that humbled you becomes the wisdom that elevates you. When you see obstacles as training, they make you stronger. But perspective alone isn't enough. Understanding must lead to action. The final piece is developing an unbreakable will. A fighter's true measure isn't in avoiding falls, but in rising every time they hit the ground. Boxing legends have taken devastating blows and still risen from the mat. They weren't superhuman, they had an unbreakable will. Epictetus, a former slave-turned-philosopher, taught that while circumstances are beyond your control, your response is always in your hands. This is where your power lies. When life delivers an uppercut, remember that you don't need to control everything to win. You only need to control yourself. Focus on what you can influence, your thoughts, actions, and will. An unbreakable will isn't mere optimism. It's a combination of clear-eyed realism and relentless forward motion. It's the quiet voice that says, "Not today," when defeat seems certain. Each time you rise, you strengthen your resolve. Each obstacle you overcome builds your mental fortitude. Over time, you become the seasoned fighter who bears the scars of battle, but whose spirit remains unshaken. In life's toughest fights, victory doesn't always come from the hardest punches. It goes to the one who endures, who refuses to submit. Life will keep throwing punches. That's its nature. But with these Stoic principles, you won't just survive, you'll thrive. Every setback can be a comeback. Every obstacle can be an opportunity. The true victory in life doesn't go to those who avoid hardship, but to those who face it with courage, wisdom, and an unyielding spirit. Step into the ring with confidence, take the hits, and win.